I have set myself up here for the introductory Ourmont scenario for Wellington's victory. So there's 4 full-sized maps that come in the game. I will only be using 2 of them, which I've backfolded and separated out all the unnecessary parts, because the actual Chateau of Ourmont is this single hex, and no unit is allowed more than 8 hexes away in this introductory scenario. So I don't need all of that. I've got here part of one of the other map sections, because it has the observation procedure on it, otherwise known as line of sight rules, which seemed a bit odd to me. There's I'm fairly used to line of sight rules. There's some in there which seems a bit odd, which I'll get into at a later time. Then here, this is on the map twice, once for each player, and also in 2 playing aids. The combat results table, shot combat, fire combat. We've got obviously the rule book. There's only one, and it's 20 pages long, small type. Then there's from page 21 and so on, there's the scenarios, the one that I will be playing here. There's the box, and I said in an earlier video that I thought there was about 800 counters. There's actually 2,000 in this, so that's 5 double counter sheets. 2 of them are identical strength markers, and then you get 1 each for the Anglo-Allied, so that's the British, the Netherlands, the King's German Legion, the Brunswickers and the Hanoverians. Then there's 1 for the French, and theirs actually includes, these are up full strength then, most of, let's move that out of the way. That includes many skirmisher markers for the French. And then the Prussians don't have quite so many units, so their counter sheet also includes disrupted markers for French, Anglo-Allied and the Prussians themselves. They only have a few relatively skirmishers. Now these counter sheets, I can already tell, are very nicely printed, in the sense that units are printed in their divisions and so forth. So you can see the ones I've taken out are the ones needed for this scenario, which go on the 2 Army, Allied and French initial deployments. And these ones are nicely colour coded, in that the grey squares are the ones for this introductory scenario, and the brown ones are for one of the other scenarios, and then all the rest are for the sort of main games. So there's Ourmont scenario, Le Hay Saint scenario, a Place Noy scenario, and then 2 Battle of Waterloo scenarios. So one being the classic, and then the other providing alternative early French assault, earlier than historical. So and myself, I'm finding this quite useful, because let me just see if I can stabilize the camera. As you can see, under, that's the counter designations, and underneath there is the map section and the hex in which each unit is set up. Commanders are a bit different, but it's all very helpful. And it's just, I just noticed something while I'm doing this, is that these old school games, there's something, I found something different in the setup. Like with it's a bit more laborious, and you notice, as I was pointing out the different brigades and so forth, in a more modern war game they would probably be colour coded. there'd be a lot of color coding on the setup sheet, and so it would enable a faster setup. But what that then does mean is that we've kind of come to expect easy, quick setup. So bang, bang, bang. Where does it go on the map? Bang, bang, bang. And if it's kind of not like that, we get a bit frustrated. With this, I kind of go back a bit, and I find myself being more methodical and taking more time, and it gives me a nice feeling and a nice sense. So it demands more from me in the sense of time and effort, but I'm finding it a lot more relaxing than I might get from a more contemporary game, which is, it offers me more in the sense of facility, but then that kind of seems to invite more frustration from me. I mean, other people would be really frustrated by this. Say, oh, I can't be bothered to give me a new game where it's simpler. But I'm finding that what for someone else would be a frustration here is becoming an aid to my enjoyment and relaxation within the game. It's putting me in a better space, more kind of like meditative even. We're talking about the setup. Before I go on to cover the map with the units at setup, I thought we'd do well just to have a look. I'm just giving you a moment now without the light, and I put the light on, there'll be some glare. So we have the chateau here, you can see the wall around here, which is considered, I don't know, it's different terrain, impassable in fact on these sides. We've got a covered way here, so with these sort of hedge looking markers are called protected. Soft cover hex sides, soft cover hex sides, soft cover hex, and hard cover hex sides. And that's a hard cover hex. So soft cover all the way around here. So there's no difference between this terrain and this terrain, between the orchard and the actual garden there for the orchard here. Just come out a little bit. So you can see where we are. This is a elevation of 0. So you can see the grounds rising up here. On the other side of the covered way here. And the ground rises up here. So we actually have a bit of a valley with the gardens and orchards and so forth going up the hill there, with north being in that direction. So I'll just put this on and go in a bit. Doesn't really gain us anything, does it? One thing you'll notice is that where am I here? So I haven't got the hexes completely lined up. I mean, and I should cut trim, which I probably will do before I start the real battle, the full battle. But some of the rows don't quite join up. I noticed that in another couple of places as well. I mean, it's easy to figure out. Just something to note. So here's where we're going to set up. So here we see much of the second corps, over half of it I would say, set up for their attack upon Hougoumont. We have the 6th Division over here. We have lights here, more lights here. So the 1st Light Brigade, 2nd Light Brigade, and 1st, 2nd and 3rd Brigades there. Then here we have the 9th Division with their lights, and then 1, 2, 3 brigades there. And we have artillery in between. Now these are all infantry, always set up in column formation, and you'll notice that they always set up facing a hex vertex. So even when they flip to lines such as that one is now represented as doing, whoops, they still face a vertex. And notice the flipping, it's very handy you don't need to sort of turn it and then turn it around. Just flip the counter and it's all done for you. Now here's the artillery. These ones can be set up limbered or unlimbered. If they are unlimbered, the number here represents the number of guns. So this is 8 guns of the 6th Division, and the 9th Division, they similarly have 8 guns there. Then there's some 6 guns of horse artillery there, divisional horse artillery, and then we have here and here from the 3rd Cavalry Division we have some horse artillery coming up to support 6 guns each there. Now each of those counters is 5 manpower strength points, so that's 1,500 men up to 2,000 per brigade we have here, and we've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 I think brigades moving into the attack. What was that? Something like 14,000 men all told. Now what I haven't done yet is to set up the commanders. Normally no commander is set up until his unit is activated. And this is very important in this game because as units are activated, the armies sort of, I can't remember the rules, but anyways, they will start tiring, and so the more units you have activated, the longer they're activated for, the more that wearing down there is. Now I think these two are considered activated, so I set them up on board, and then later on they will activate these individual battalion, I think, commanders. Okay, and here is the Allied setup. See the valley reaching down here, rises slightly to the Ourmont Chateau there, and you've got garden wall here, orchard here, and so lower ground up to here, and all along here is closed terrain hex sites. So we have Netherlands skirmishers here. I believe the Hanoverian skirmishers here, and then here in the chateau itself here, and dotted here we have British skirmishers. Then a little bit further back we have Commander Hill here of the 2nd Corps. And we also have Duplat of the Hanoverians from the 2nd Corps here. So essentially we've got a Guards Brigade here, under Byng, a Guards Brigade here, under Maitland, and they have skirmishers detached into here. We have some artillery here, artillery here. These are horse artillery. More horse artillery here. This artillery has been unlimbered, and there's limbered regular artillery under here with Clinton. Then we have another brigade here under Mitchell, and some cavalry, a brigade here. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, that's one brigade under Mitchell, and a brigade here of the Hanoverians. So 2 Guards Brigades and 2 Line Brigades with some assorted artillery and a few skirmishers off that. I think those are in Les Saints, so I guess they shouldn't really be moved. But yeah, I'll move a little bit closer. So these are the reinforcements. Here are the detachments, and the game goes for 18 game turns. I'm going to be using this road to mark it because the game turn track's on the edge of one of these maps I folded in. When it reaches there, that's 20 game turns. Each turn is 15 minutes, so what's that? That's 5 hours we're going to get for this assault. If the French get a single unit in here, they win, or if either side is demoralized, the other side wins this scenario. No, it's worth noting. You see the skirmish units have a strength of 1. They have an effectiveness rating, or these ones all have effectiveness rating of 5, which relates to the units from which they were detached. And in fact, that is one whole battalion which has completely detached itself there. Now the French do not have skirmishers at start, and I guess historically they did send up skirmishers first, but it would be interesting. I think that it would be a foregone conclusion that skirmisher versus skirmisher attacking across an obstructed hex side like this is going to only benefit the defender. So I'm thinking that I may well, I don't know, send some skirmishers round as the French, maybe detach some skirmishers, send them round the sides as kind of screens against the possible reinforcing units, but then otherwise assault the main line of defence against their objective hex with full battalions. I don't see why not. I don't remember how these rules play out, so that might show me quite quickly. I think that's essentially what we'll do. Release a battalion of skirmishers this way. No, that's the first consideration. No, the middle rating being the effectiveness rating also indicates the class of your unit. If your effectiveness rating is 5 or 6, you're an elite unit and you can break down your whole battalion as skirmishers. If it's only 4, such as these, then you can only release 1 skirmisher unit. So I couldn't release, I could, I suppose, release 1 skirmisher from each of those and send them off. Or we do have a light battalion here that they could, a light brigade, and they could all break down. No, I beg your pardon, that's a light regiment. It's a bit confusing this because there's, for example, that, like this line here is a brigade, and then all the rest of those are one other brigade. So we don't have, and it's similarly in the Allied ones, they're not regular shapes and sizes.